The world brought down to its knees by an invisible enemy. On March 20th, Papua New Guinea woke up to its first case of coronavirus. Within hours, the National Capital District Commission, led by Governor Powes Pakop, swung into action. An assertive task force was born, representing stakeholders from the police, health, education, local businesses, NGOs, and other partners.
I knew that if it comes to Port Moresby or Papua New Guinea, it will be like wildfire. We won't have the capacity and ability to respond to it.
Tough decisions were taken and vowed to be enforced. No PMVs, no public gathering, market makeovers. But the first challenge was to create awareness about basic sanitation, hygienic practices, and social distancing. In just 2 weeks, 500 sites, that is 80% of the targeted areas, were covered. Then came this tangible measure, bringing with it a glimmer of hope. This central isolation center at the Rita Flynn Courts was the culmination of the efforts of Governor Powes Pakop and key stakeholders like the United Nations agencies, the World Health Organization, St. John Ambulance, the NCD Public Health Authority, and the generous contribution of the business houses in the city.
We are here to show that we are ready. Your city is ready. This facility is here for the rest of our country, should it be needed.
If we can learn from this facility that is now being commissioned, we will be a little bit more wealthier. We will be a little bit more informed.
The state-of-the-art facility had a triage and surveillance tent, a quarantine tent, and an isolation ward.
We have a capacity of 76 beds, but we can also increase to over 100 just by putting more beds into the area.
But on the ground, the impact of COVID-19 could be felt. In the bustling Boroko market, the vendors were given a new mandate. Social distancing had become a reality, but changing attitudes was a tougher task.
We Papua New Guineans, we come from the diverse culture, and once we talk, people have to listen once and then they have to apply. One of the preventive measures people talk. Then today, all can harm right now and then all can think about it, but after some hours or maybe next day, they forget about it.
The markets that didn't abide by the rules faced instant shutdown, like this market in Koki. Within the second week itself, the theme of health and hygiene echoed through the city. The NCDC marked the arrival of 8 waste compactors to the city, which disposes of a whopping 100 tons of waste every day.
These compactors will contain the rubbish the right and proper way.
At a weekly meeting at NCDC City Hall, the challenges seemed daunting.
And our goal is to protect our people, protect our city, prevent the virus, remain green.
The challenge of QB is green for my men.
Our plant capacity is as which is missing basically. So
our next challenge for the next 2 months was enforcement.
But the Provincial Task Force had a difficult balance to maintain: health versus economy. A result of this tightrope act between the two was this opening of a market at wildlife, a measure to look after the interests of the informal sector.
People like helping Yupla, the informal sector, to be independent. All mama baby must market. This is your life. This is your bread and butter on the table. Awesome, that's why we brought the market to your doorstep. Look after it.
But the event had turned into a huge health hazard, violating the mandate of the state of emergency imposed in the country. But a leader must walk the talk, and that is what was displayed in full fury when the opening was abruptly called off.
It's not easy. You know, it's still people stopping me, sir. But people must work in this edition in order to protect all of us. So, not today, you may not have open market. Now we are ribbon by stuff. You block community, you block go back, you may all get again go now.
Not just the informal sector, but even for the business community. keeping the wheels of the economy running was important.
An immediate impact on all businesses. Some businesses have been really affected, and in particular the airlines, which have been ordered to shut down, so the tourists have not been able to come in, and that's had a direct impact on the hospitality and tourism industry. Employees' welfare is the number one concern of all business houses at the moment, and we're doing what we can to keep as many people employed.
Meanwhile, there was pressure on an already beleaguered healthcare system. Provincial Task Force provided a platform for the health workers to air their concerns. Easily the most at risk, these doctors and nurses from the public sector have a hard decision to make: duty versus self-preservation.
I know it's not easy. You didn't sign up because you want to face a pandemic. This type of situation does not come to us by choice. The government did not ask for it. Our people did not ask for it. Our country did not ask for it. You have my assurance that we will help you to mitigate the risk. And so if some medical officers want to opt out, this is a time where it becomes a question of life and death. And therefore, I'm not in a moral position to say, no, we will terminate you. So I want to leave it to you all to make a commitment. Whatever box that you want us to tick, we will take it. And you have that assurance from me.
An emotional call to action also issued by some of Papua New Guinea's eminent doctors and health administrators.
I need you guys now today. It's a big collaborative effort. It's not a one-man show. Come in, let's collaborate, let's work together, let's get the facility ready and operational for Port Moresby.
We health workers are committed 100% or even beyond 100%. Our duty, uppermost, is to protect the community. Make sure you don't get sick. And if you lose one or two doctors, we've lost.
The reality on the ground comes as a rude wake-up call. The concerns and problems pour out.
If we do 14 days quarantine to all the staff, we don't have lots of staff. The staff will finally run out and we will have no one to look after our COVID patients.
We all know that NCD does not have a public labor ward. It's only Port Moresby General Hospital. And I don't have PPE.
After a patient hearing came this assurance.
Insurance. We are also looking at that too for insurance cover. We are looking at facilities which you can use as a temporary health village, where you don't have to go home to risk your families. Your PPEs, we have purchased what we can to ensure that you are given the best protection that we can offer you.
Recognizing an overall shortage of PPE in Port Moresby, the NCDC promptly moved in to plug the gap by providing masks, gloves, and other gear to various sectors of the city.
We're working closely through Governor Parkop, through the acting city manager, Ravi Frank, to make sure that we are integrated with the Provincial Health Authority model. We have worked with them to stockpile personal protective equipment. We're doing that through a makeshift warehouse that we've set up at the Tarama Aquatic Centre next door to us here at 3 Mile.
At the St. John Ambulance Hotline Centre, the team works hard to ensure critical care services are still running seamlessly.
The ambulance service is running as usual at the moment. We do expect if COVID comes that we'll see significant increasing demand, and there is concern that health services could be overrun.
EMTV is over and out.
A month into the state of emergency, the collateral impact was significant, especially on those most vulnerable. Launching a vision of food security, this was strong statesmanship at its best by the Prime Minister and the two governors. The initiative to feed the needy came as many struggled in the city in the economic aftershock of the lockdown.
Caring for the least amongst us is very important. A Christian concept, a Melanesian concept, I owe it to them. Governor Parkop owe it to them. Governor Agrobe owe it to them. Those of us who are fortunate to be still in employment owe it to the rest of us who are struggling.
In the first attempt, 20 tons of garden produce was directly purchased from the rural farmers, then mobilized from the central province to Port Moresby, where the NCDC gave it to over 40 churches who distributed it to those in need.
To support the everyday farmer, we are pushing the one crop per farmer concept. That means if you're growing banana, just stick to banana. If you're growing pineapple, stick to pineapple. If you're growing pawpaw, stick to pawpaw. Everybody's got to take part in doing something. Everybody's got to take part in driving the economy.
The biggest hub of population of our country over 1 million people, it's really dire or hard. This is not to feed the city. It's to provide support to those who most need it.
Behind the scenes, hectic meetings were held by the Council of Churches to ensure the distribution of the food occurred without a hitch.
It's too big. I know, that's why we've already got all the MK villages done. We've got Garahu done. We're now doing Maracas number 11.
We go to the suburbs and the settlements.
We want all the churches to work together to roll out this program. For the churches, I think you are very close to the people and you know very well who those people are who are at need are.
Are we together in this? Yes.
And then came the big rollout. Fresh garden produce, dry food like biscuits, noodles, pigs worth $500,000 lay ready for pickup by the churches. This United Church reverend, like many of his counterparts, was on board for this timely initiative. In Hanuabada, the church representatives immediately got to work, making individual packages for further distribution to the needy.
In the church, we have a list of people, orphans, disabled, sick. We use those lists to distribute some portion of money monthly to these people, and we will be using the same list to distribute this food to these people.
This elderly woman was the first recipient of help.
I used to rely on the church people. Like this is my boss.
The program, made possible through generous contributions and pledges from business houses and associations, reaffirmed the faith of the corporate sector in the governor.
Like Sawe, that we contribute about 1,600 cartons of kakaro,
about 1,000 bales of rice. We are here today to donate 2 containers of Indo milk. It's worth of 70,000 kina. Thank you.
Today we are donating 50,000 to the governor.
Our support to the governor is in form of PPE, and total value of the donation is 25,000 kina.
We have first stage donated 50,000 kina.
We pledged to provide 20,000 kina.
From my company business, I'm donating today 50,000 kina.
Meanwhile, with the lockdown restrictions relaxing, Port Moresby learned to live with the new normal. As schools across the city reopened, the Provincial Task Force was intent on making sure the learning environment was COVID-ready. Hand-washing basin installed, posters like this put up in the classrooms, and a workshop for teachers and school administrators was held. At the Hagara Primary School, the opening of 4 new classrooms couldn't have come at a better time.
Our children and their children and the future generation will be much readier than now. Our children, they need good learning environment.
Sometimes I feel embarrassed that we're standing in Hanuabada village. We have a classroom that hasn't been renovated in the last 30 years, steps that are falling apart, windows that are broken, no desks in the classrooms. And then you look across the harbour and we've got this economic hub that's making billions.
As the Motu Koita community found itself struggling to cope with the new normal, these 2 leaders have development on their mind, with infrastructure as a priority. But enforcing change hasn't been easy with all sectors. The public transport sector has been significantly slow on this agenda. The governor of NCD paved the way for a discussion with PMV and taxi operators over providing safe, clean, and affordable transportation.
No, and you can also talk. Tambu lo kage boy time you come kalap lo balus. You go lo samla office lo government too. Tambu lo kage boy inside lo office lo government, even company too. So this like add plus something. Tomorrow, you can adopt him this policy. Also, bus plan, a taxi plan, and by boy free. Okay, you collab PMV too, can get boy.
Firstly, register our buses, complete our routes. So you have to do your bit.
You need to talk about petroleum attitude, boy. You must put him on penalties, go on driver, na boskuru. No can put him on car no got attitude problem. Driver na boskuru na driver blockade, you will lock him on. Na penalize him on now. Not block line him lot isla. Penalties must go on human beings, equipment.
By week 5, the ripple effects of the economic meltdown were being felt by the business community. At a meeting organized by the NCDC and the Port Moresby Chamber of Commerce and Industry, a dialogue was established to plan the road to recovery.
In our budget this year, we have increased the land rates. But what I can announce now is that we have decided to defer this increase to next year.
When it comes to this program, it's not the government's intention to really shut it down, and to open the mind as early as possible to bring confidence again.
Some serious concerns were raised at the meeting that brought together the public and private sector.
Pay your bills. We're not looking for a handout. We talk about all these big glamorous things. Pay your bills, we keep people employed, we kickstart the economy.
Businesses are struggling. They have already terminated people, and more will be terminated.
The reality in Papua New Guinea is that we don't have the luxury of a massive bailout.
Make decision that will get us to get going so everybody can start recovering and getting the nation going again.
As the government looked to restart the economic engine, the NCD Provincial Task Force provided crucial support in fueling the lifeline of the city, announcing the launch of fuel subsidy for police.
Be honest with you that I stand here relieved this afternoon. I just got text from our units on the ground, our Fox unit, asking me to help them with the fuel.
Reliability is the key here, the key word, making sure our police have the fuel and ensure that our communities throughout NCD are safe.
For the police force, the 2 months have revealed the gap in their capacity and resources. This first of its kind meeting, organized by the task force, shows the importance of a police-community partnership.
Current police capacity is thought to be between 45 to 50%. We are operating 45% capacity. Don't complain. Suggestion for improving policing services. Way to go is e-policing, as I said. Second part will be CCTV. The country wastes so much money on it for the APEC, and it never got used after APEC. We need everyone in the city. Only one 10 or 20 of you here. We need more if we really want to change the city. There should be a new normal.
At the Pari Primary School, tucked away in the semi-rural setting just outside the city, the learning environment has changed, both inside the classroom and outside.
We have decided to have the students come in the morning from 8 o'clock, starting at 8:30 to 11:30 in the morning. That's the first batch. And the second batch has to come in the afternoon, starting at 12 o'clock lunchtime to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And wash station there has been put up by the Motkoita Assembly. And we have these sanitizers for each of the classrooms.
The coronavirus brings with it a thin silver lining at these marketplaces. After a massive makeover, the new normal looks like this in Koki Vegetable Market. With clean stalls, social distancing, health posters, the vendors here have adjusted quickly.
Mama slow changes na new look of Koki Market. Now today mi market lo ya esabenda. All market managers been talking me pla lo coronavirus solto wasi man na look out me play it lo. Yeah, inside lo market.
The citizens of NCD are waking up to the new normal.
Now this la social distancing we work lo making some spacing lo shopping centers na banking which was more comfortable.
The settlement maybe stable, Connie, maybe been clean up the settlement, na maybe rausi more rubbish, na more drain, na dislakain.
Although siguiendo just face bumps all.
In the final stages of the quick response plan of the team came this heartwarming gesture. These 10 buses, lying unused from APAC, were put into action by the governor for ferrying school children. Providing safe, reliable transportation to these children showed the commitment of the NCDC, which is now taking over the education sector in the city.
Our goal is very clear: to provide and create the best teaching and learning environment in our country. Our children and all our peers in the other schools, you are all now privileged will be using the APEC buses. Air conditioned, see? And no window too, so it's good. No speeding. Use this bus wisely. Our children It's here for you, but look after it, help us to partner, and help us to arrive at that city that we all want and we deserve.
In a trial run, the excited students admirably followed all social distancing and health norms to take a memorable journey with the governor. Port Moresby's COVID-19 journey, while initially chaotic, now has bloomed into trusted partnerships and unique collaborations. These men and women of the NCD Task Force united through trying times to do what is best for their city. These measures, these assertive actions, taken together, will form the blueprint for a better future, a better Port Moresby.